Hello everyone, Thempire Ian here with more new cards. We've got Legend Collection Heroes, whatever the heck this is called. It's the anime cards. We're doing anime import stuff through one of the full art, the frame break sets. We got the heroes, we got the rivals. They're both going to be having different anime imports, I assume. Instead of having the one big anime import pack, or maybe in addition to having the one big anime import pack. I don't exactly know. Some of these are not anime, they're just like support for anime cards, and some of them are in anime imports, I think. I'm not exactly certain. Anyways, new Orichalcos card? The new Orichalcos card. Okay. Orichalcos, Sword of Sealing. Equip spell card. You can use the second effect of this card once per turn. The equipped monster's effects are negated. Well, okay. If you have a card in your field zone, you can target one effect monster you control. That effect monster gains this effect until the end of the opponent's turn. Once per turn, quick effect, you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard, then target the face-up card on the field, destroy that target. Are there any funny cards where like the effect, a kaiju would be fun to put this on a kaiju, its effect is negated, but then like the other kaiju would still have its effect, right? I don't know. I don't know if there's like a kaiju, or not a card, a monster where you would want to have its effects negated. Lava Golem would be kind of funny. It does make any monster have the ability to pop a card. Wait, I just realized it doesn't have to be the equipped monster that does the effect. In fact, it shouldn't be, right? Because it gains that effect until the end of the opponent's turn. So it has to be a separate monster from the monster that's equipped. What is... What a strange effect for this card to have. No, you can give an effect monster on the field this effect, but if you give this effect to your equipped monster, its effects are negated, so it won't be able to use this effect. You have to give it to a separate effect monster. What? What? That's so funny. Because monsters' effects are negated, and then if you have a card in the field zone, like the Seal of Orichalcos, you get to make one of your monsters not quite Trident. And then quick effect, once per turn, send a card from the hand to the grave, target a face-up card in the field, destroy that target. How bizarre. What a strange little card. Well, next up, we have a card. It's called Rainbow's Bridge Bifrost. Crucially, it is not called Rainbow Bridge. Rainbow Bridge is a searchable archetype in Crystal Beast. It is not called Rainbow Bridge, it is Rainbow's Bridge, or something else, something equivalent. Because this is actually a Nordic card. That's why it's got the Bifrost in there, because it's taking you to, one of the various realms. It's a normal spell card. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. Banish 3 level 10 or higher monsters from your extra deck, including a light synchro monster. Add a field spell from your deck to your hand. Oh, they have a helpful little link here to get us all the cards that can work with this. There's only 19 of them. Ordinarily, I would just use a Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro deck, but since it has a handy link, we might as well just use this. Okay, so Ascension Sky Dragon does nothing. Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon is unnecessary because Blue Eyes can already search their field spell extremely easily. Legacia is fun. So like Centurion can use this, and their field spell is interesting, but also they can pretty easily search their field spell. It's not, the field spell isn't a starter for them, so it doesn't matter that you have it so much. And there's like good options here. If you're like on a deck that's already playing these options, you can easily play this card. And have Terraforming. It's Terraforming. You add a field spell from your deck to your hand. It's Terraforming. Ooh, Fabled. Oh wait, Fabled actually, because Fabled's field spell is pretty good, right? Am I wrong on that? 1 of 30. Okay, 36. There it is. Stairway to a Fabled Realm. Send a Fabled from deck to graveyard. Yeah. Target a Fabled monster in the graveyard, discard 2 cards. If you do add that monster to your hand, you'll use this effect once per turn. This seems pretty good. Yeah. So like, you could run it in Fabled, and I think it would be pretty good there. Obviously, the Aesir are level 10 monsters, and one of them is a Light Odin. But like, Nordic's field spell is ass. I don't know why this is a Nordic card when Nordic's field spell is like I don't even know if it's called a Nordic card. What is it? What is its name? I never even remember they have a field spell, right? Nordic Lights. Nordic monsters on the field cannot be destroyed by battle. If this card is on the field, destroy all Nordic monsters on the field. Why do I want this? Why would I ever want this? Maybe they have a new Nordic field spell in the works or something. I don't know. It's so weird. It must be just from the anime and like they just added it in because this is so fucking cheeks. But I think the real answer is that it's a Fluandereeze card. Fluandereeze don't have any level 10 synchros, of course, but they don't care about the extra deck at all. So they get to just, why are there over level 10s in here? That's or higher. Oh, it says or higher. It does say or higher. Huh. I didn't realize it said or higher. I just glazed over that part. I mean, that's cool too. That's why the Omega or the Blue Eyes was in here, the Ultimate Spirit Dragon, and Violent Omega. But regardless, my point stands. You could use it in Fluandereeze. I think Fluandereeze and Fabled, I guess, might be the best places to use it. Like, really think about it. Really, really think about it. How many decks these days have their field spell as an essential part of the deck, right? Ryziel has the field spell as an essential part of the deck, but you search it as part of your combo. You don't need terraforming for it. It's not part of it's not your starter, right? Malice is basically the only example I can think of a deck that is running a field spell as a starter, something you would want to have turn one and not something you search over the course of a combo. Do you think Malice has the room for 3 level 10 or higher monsters? Do you really think that? Are you sure about that? They don't. Even without Whitebinder, they don't have the room for 3 level 10 or higher monsters. Actually, probably they have less room for it than they did before. Like, they lost the extra deck monsters. That means they had to add in a bunch of other crap. This card is not just terraforming 2. It is terraforming, but for bad decks. Bad decks who don't have a tight extra deck. Every single deck has a tight extra deck these days. Every deck that is printed now has a very tight extra deck, except for the bad ones. Only decks that are not meta relevant at all have decks that are loose enough to fit in 3 level 10 or higher monsters. This is going to synergize with cards that do have, as part of their main line of stuff, level 10 or higher monsters, but you're gonna have to be on duplicates because you're gonna want to summon them over the course of your combo, right? So I think this card is perfectly fine. I think it's actually quite interesting. But I mean, I think Master Duel banning terraforming was a mistake anyways. I think, as usual, consistency is awesome. I fucking love consistency, and more consistency cards like this, especially ones that play into certain strategies. I mean, this one, it plays into specifically decks that have room in the extra deck, and I think that's cool. And I'm down. I'm really down with this. I think it's really cool. Next up, Malefic. That's right. They're making more Malefic cards. You thought they forgot about Malefic after that one movie. Well, they made some more. They finally made some. What was the last Malefic card? I actually genuinely do not know when the last Malefic card release was. No, I was spelling it right. It doesn't look... You ever notice how Malefic is spelled malefic? Where are the Fujoshis in the audience? Can you back me up on this? Okay, 2010, 2011, 2011, 2020 Malefic Divide. 2020 a Malefic card was printed. Really? Huh. Target a Malefic card in your graveyard, special summon it, ignoring its special summoning conditions with effects are negated, and manage it during the end phase. So, okay. This is going to require a little bit of explanation about the Malefic deck if you're not already familiar with them, which you might not be because they are so dog shit. So, the Malefic cards are evil versions of cards that already existed, like Blue Eyes White Dragon or Cyber End Dragon. They are essentially just big guys you can special summon for free by banishing the relevant card from the extra deck or main deck. And then there can only be one Malefic monster on the field, and then other monsters you control cannot attack. And if there's no face-up field spell on the card, on the field, you destroy this card. They all have that effect, well, except for a couple of them, but ignore that for now. And that means that their effects are actually terrible. Anything that says negate its effects is actually a buff. So Malefic Divide is not a terrible card. Paradigm Dragon is like, it does a couple of things. Paradox Dragon is something. It's like fine. Paradox Gear is like a custom card made in 2020, go figure. Parallel Gear is just a way to do anything with this deck. That's how you make your Synchro monster. Because again, even the gears, which don't have the effect that only one Malefic can be on the field, still have to abide by the effects of the other monsters that say they can only have one Malefic on the field. So Parallel Gear's effect is just you get to use a Malefic monster in hand as Synchro material when you sync with this monster. Malefic Selector was also in 2020. Banish 2 Malefic cards from the graveyard, add 2 Malefic cards from your deck to your hand with different names for each other from the banished cards. You like to, okay, sure. That requires you to be on so many. Malefic Territory is like an actually decent card. It also negates the effects of the Malefic cards, and it changes there can only be one Malefic monster on the field to only one Malefic monster on the field with the same name, which is way better. Malefic Tune. Destroy a battle opponent's card effect, draw 2 cards. Face of Malefic, banish the card, add a Malefic monster from your deck to your hand. And then the field spell, Malefic World, because remember, they have to have a field spell on the field or else they destroy themselves. Malefic World. While this card is face up on the field, you can activate this effect instead of conducting a normal draw during your draw phase. Choose 3 Malefic cards in your deck and have your opponent pick one of them. That's right, it's Bingo Machine Go, except it takes up your draw. I mean, I guess technically Bingo Machine Go takes up your draw if you draw it off the top. But Malefic World is like, yeah, you can Bingo Machine Go every turn, but it is going to cost you your draw. Unfortunately, there's only one card you actually want, which is Paradox Gear. So let's see if these new cards can do anything for it. Malefic Force. Normal trap card. You can use the first, second, turn. Target one face-up monster on the field. Equip this card to it as an equip card with these effects. The equipped monster is unaffected by spell effects. Okay, sure. Once per turn, you can destroy this card. If you do, add a Malefic card for your deck to your hand. I assume by this card it means this trap card. Also notice it's not a continuous spell. It's a normal trap card, despite being an equip. I thought usually those were, I mean, maybe they're not. I thought usually those were continuous when they're like that. I guess not. I guess that's more like a different kind of effect. It's like Blast with Chain as opposed to Fiendish Chain, right? Both chains. If a card is in the field zone, you can banish this card and one other Malefic card for your graveyard, destroy all monsters on the field. That's kind of funny. Not good though. Like it's like really bad. Like I guess the idea is you're making your monster unaffected by spells, so it's harder to out, but like it's still affected by monster effects and trap effects because these cards don't do anything. All right, Malefic Paradigm Shift. Also love that Sin Paradigm Shift. Like it's just in English on there. Normal trap card. You can only activate one card with this card name per turn. You can activate this card from your hand by paying half your life points. Dinomorphia. Add to your hand or place in your field zone face up one Malefic World from your deck or graveyard. Oh, so that field spell that I just saw was terrible. Then special summon one Malefic monster in your deck or extra deck in defense position, ignoring its summoning conditions. Then, if your opponent controls a monster with 2,500 or more attack, all face-up monsters they currently control lose 2,500 attack at the end of this turn. Wait. Or extra deck. And, okay, hold up. So, it can just get any Malefic monster, so it can actually get the good ones. What does this say? When this card is Synchro Summoned, you can select one Synchro monster. Damn it. Damn it. If it said when it was special summoned, we could do some actually interesting things with this card, I think. However, I can still think of some things to do with this card. Malefic Paradigm Shift, you activate it from your hand by paying half your life points. You special summon, it just says a Malefic monster, it doesn't say what kind. So you can grab Malefic Paradox Gear, you'll have Malefic World on the field, so you can tribute this card, special summon Parallel Gear from the deck, this guy right here, and then add a Malefic monster from your deck to your hand, except for Malefic Paradox Gear. If a Malefic monster will banish special summon itself on its own way, you can banish this card for your controller instead. That's fine. We don't really need that part. Well, or wait, hold up. I assume the wood banish means that you have to have the target for it to actually do this. If you don't, though, you can actually do something really funny. So yeah, you go, like I said, you use the effect of Paradigm Shift to pay half your life points, and then grab Paradox Gear. Paradox Gear grabs Parallel Gear and any of them. Probably go with one of the 8s, like White Dragon. Oh, well, you probably go with something like that. It depends. So it depends on what this means. If this means you have to actually control it, or not to control it, you have to have the target. Like, to summon the Blue Eyes, you have to have the Blue Eyes in your deck. That's a no-go, right? But if it does mean it can just replace it, you don't have to have an actual legal target, then just go ahead and do this, right? But if it does mean you have to have a specific target, then you go with Malefic Stardust Dragon, because you need an 8 for the thing I'm thinking of, or it could be any of the extra deck ones. Rainbow Dragon is not an extra deck one, but Cyber End Dragon is. I don't know what you can make. You can make it like a 12. But yeah, you're just going to use the Parallel Gear to Synchro Summon into a generic 10. So this Malefic Paradigm Shift can get you a generic Synchro 10 for just about free. I guess you don't even need the Stardust Dragon if you're using the Synchro part. Sorry, I'm getting all mixed up because I thought of a new thing while I was looking at this. But yeah, you can just use the Synchro effect of Parallel Gear to synchro off into a 10. You don't have to have Stardust in the deck at all to send to the grave. Or if you do have the Stardust, or this works the way I want it to work, you can just summon out another guy and then have 2 link material to make, I don't know, a link to of some kind, whatever you want, whatever link to you want. The only thing is, it does cost half your life points, which if you're playing like Dinomorphia, that might not be a bad idea. That might not be a bad thing at all. Especially since it has extra upside here. If your opponent controls a monster with 2,500 or more attack, all face-up monsters they currently control lose 2,500 attack at the end of the turn. Like, that's really nice. But you also have to run a lot of garnets, right? The amount of garnets, so like it's 3 Paradigm Shift. There's no way to search this as far as I know. And then you're running Paradox Gear, Parallel Gear, Malefic Stardust, and Malefic World. You need all 4 of them. That is 4 garnets to 3 starters for a Synchro 10. I just don't think it's worth it, even though it is very funny. It's extremely funny. Problem is, it is very funny, though. Doesn't cost your normal. It's really nice. All right, let's talk about the Blackwing. Assault Blackwing Kusanagi the Gathering Storm. I assume this one's from the anime. I don't know. It's not related to the new Assault mode stuff. It's just sometimes the Blackwings are Assault Blackwings. It's level 9 Dark Wing Beast Synchro Effect Monster. 3,000 attack, 1,000 defense, 1 tuner, 1 or more non-tuners, generic materials. If this card is synchro summoned using a Blackwing monster as material, it is treated as a tuner while face up on the field. Okay, can it also be treated as a non-tuner? I'm not sure. If this card is after this card is synchro summoned for the rest of this turn, it gains attack equal to the original attack of the single monsters used for its material. It can attack all opponent's monsters once each. If this card attacks with a defensive monster, inflict piercing battle damage. Like, I don't know what you want me to say about this. This one's just nothing. Maybe the fact that it's a 9 that can be a tuner is relevant, but other than that, I have no clue. Like, this is why I'm like, this must be an anime card, because this is just nothing. This is so nothing. It doesn't have any protection. It gains a bunch of attack, but doesn't have any protection at all. It doesn't do anything else. It's just unfortunate. Some interesting cards here. Orichalcos, I don't think is. I don't know. Maybe there's going to be a monster that wants to be negated in a deck that somehow searches equip spells and also has a field spell. There's a lot of things going on here. Rainbow's Bridge Bifrost, I think, is going to be a really interesting card, particularly for decks that aren't great. I think it's going to be wonderful news for rogue decks. And I don't think a lot of other decks are going to be able to actually do much with it. I don't think meta decks is going to be able to do much with it. I think it's really just going to be boosting the power of bad decks while not fundamentally changing the way they play like Fiendsmith does, right? The Malefic cards, I mean, They're good, but like, what do you do about Malefic, right? The cards don't do anything. They just don't do anything. These are gonna go right in Duel Links. Like these are made for Duel Links, right? They're made so they can be put in Duel Links later, and then Duel Links will have a skill that makes the Malefic cards do something. I think that's what it is. And then the Blackwing card, I legitimately think this is just an anime card that they're printing just to have it out there finally. I don't understand why this card would exist otherwise. I haven't gotten to that part in 5Ds yet. I'm just gonna believe. But, if you know, you can let me know in the comments. If you have any other thoughts on these cards, let me know. Let me know down there what you're thinking about these cards, what you're doing with them. How interested are you in some of these playables? I think some of these are quite playable, and some of them are just kind of interesting, and some of them are just bad. Blackwing, but maybe you know the reference. Maybe you know. Or maybe it's a manga card. I didn't even think about that. It could be a manga card. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Hey there, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I've got a lot more for you if you want them. Just hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to get notifications. I'd also appreciate if you left me a like and a comment and maybe shared the video around with your friends. You can also follow me on all the usual social media sites. Just check out my website in the description below for more info. My videos are funded by my patrons, Ko-fi subscribers, and YouTube members, whose names you'll see scrolling by in these credits here. For just $1 a month, you too could find yourself here, trapped in my end screen for all eternity, among other benefits. In particular, I'd like to thank Jeremy Coatney, Frog Prince Michael, Fleakill, Haru Hayes, the Almighty Ferret Lord, Fire Mizumi, Beastman, Bryn, and Beelzis. A big thanks to all my patrons and to my little community as a whole. Remember to be kind to yourselves, be kind to others, and have a wonderful whatever time it is for you. Bye-bye.